Well, of course he is lying.
Hello.
Hello.
I thought that you might read the title of the episode in the voice.
Well, of course he is lying.
As she like snaps the
Yes, that was a
light
question.
fixture.
Yes, on Tournament of Champions, which, by the way,
Happy
we
New
watched.
Year 2022.
Yes,
The
we
year-
watched that between the last episode
did.
and this one.
We watch. It's been a month. I did not say a while. It's been a month.
Been a month.
With Magical Theory on break, we watched the Tournament of Champions. We watched the 20th anniversary of which I mean is kind of a very strange anniversary. It's like the 20th anniversary of the Sorcerer's Stone coming out. Like that's the specific whatever. We're gonna just live with it. Because what else is there to do?
Apparently nothing.
We made 2 puzzles.
Yes,
Harry
we
Potter
did. Yes, we
puzzles
did.
For the 12 days of streaming.
Yes.
We did lots
That was
of
fun.
Harry Potter related
Those were good puzzles.
things.
I also ate an earthworm jelly bean yesterday. Thanks, Birdie.
Yeah, thank you, Birdie. We did poorly on some Harry Potter trivia, like the app one, the timer one. We did bar trivia too, which we can talk about in a second. But
it's not worth
we can never talk about it again. We did in the Wizarding World app. When he keeps needing to put his head on my leg and I want him to be his own puppy. In the Wizarding World app, there's like different kinds of quizzes you can take. And some of them, part of the challenge is that it's timed. So you see the literal timer going down and then I randomly click the wrong answer.
The sense of urgency is there for sure.
Not a fan of timed things.
I mean, overall, I think in the order of satisfying trivia, that's actually at the top, and then Tournament of Champions, and then our bar trivia. Bar trivia it was just a mess from start to finish in terms of organization and execution.
It was, yeah.
There was way too many people.
Can I tell them the first question?
Yeah.
What house was Harry Potter sorted into?
Yes. Similar to Trivial Pursuit, where like everything is really easy, but then there was like 1 or 2 questions that were like off the charts hard. I don't even remember.
How many staircases are in Hogwarts?
Yeah. Which is like it's like a piece of trivium, so I could see people knowing it. Some people I think probably did or guessed
that question comes up a lot, and I always get it wrong.
Let's go into a couple more details. So Lynette and I have a long history of doing bar trivia. Starting in Michigan with a group of friends, and then another place in Michigan, and then also in Tucson.
Highly recommend that venue.
Really great.
Well, it's like multiple venues. It's like an organizing structure. I think they have a Twitch channel actually, and they do. Yes, they started doing like virtual,
especially
trivia.
during pandemic. Yeah.
But yeah, they high quality trivia. 8 rounds. You have different kinds of things that happen in each round. One of them is usually a music round, which I love doing because they play sound clips. Sometimes they goof it up and they're like, oh, we'll play like distorted versions or cover versions. And you have to guess
we played
those
it
things.
Here actually too, pre-pandemic. Twice, I think.
There's
at 2 different places.
A visual round where you get like a paper.
Super fun. You get that at the beginning.
And
it's the round 5, so you get 4 full rounds to be thinking about it.
A lot of things that I would be
Plus
like,
this
is
paper,
trivia.
No phones. So it's on paper, no phones. It makes a difference because
oh my God.
You have a longer amount of time.
It's on paper, not on phones. No, but the app.
I mean, like you have to put away your phone, so you can't like Google anything. But then they give you more time. So this is the alternative, right? Is this one that we did? It's digital, which means you have to use time because otherwise everyone will just Google everything.
Yeah,
because you're on your phone. You have to be on your phone to answer the question. So everyone has their phones out.
Well, okay, they were live entering the answers to the questions while it was happening. So there was one question where supposedly everyone got it wrong, but it wasn't that everyone got it wrong. It was that the person who was supposed to input the answer didn't input the answer.
Yeah.
It was a whole mess of things.
I think it was one of their first times trying to ever run trivia there. So I'm sure that they'll learn some things. No?
No, I was gonna say there was one of the co-hosts was Harry Potter, dressed as Harry Potter, but like it seemed that he didn't know anything about Harry Potter.
The Quidditch.
And Quidditch.
I appreciated their energy. I really did.
Very energetic.
But just the organization in terms of
it was a hoot.
There are certain things that don't work well. Like this was a timer-based thing, but not every question was multiple choice. Some you had to enter the answer.
The typos.
But then that means that you have any
and then
typos,
if you
any
added
autocorrect,
in front of something,
an
it wouldn't
S,
count
yes,
it.
yes. So it was anyway. There's that, and then there's Tournament of Champions, which we thought was decent, but kind of strange that it was one-on-one teams. It should have been just all 4 teams the whole time.
Yeah,
just earning points.
We both
like the House Cup.
Thought that Lee Jordan should have just hosted it. Like
Lee Jordan should have hosted it, not Dame Helen Mirren.
I get the comedic, he's in there and doing
it's magical theory podcast time. No,
it's magical theory podcast.
Helen Mirren hosting it bumped me out of it every time. So like we'd come back to her and she'd say some goofy pre-scripted thing, and I'm like, this is so weird. Why is Helen Mirren? She has nothing to do with this.
So there was also this round where they had to, the team had to assign who they were giving the question to on the other team.
That was weird, because they're all strangers.
They were all like, this person seems smart. And it's like, what?
Yes, the funniest thing was it was teams of 3, so it'd be 3 questions, and you'd have to give it each to everyone, but the points would go up. So they'd be like, we're going to give the lowest one to this person because they seem smart, and then we're going to give the middle one to this person because they seem smart, and then... The implication being that the third person looked the stupidest on that team.
Okay, so yeah,
look.
The first 5 minutes of this episode is us ranting about how trivia should be done, and those are not it.
Yes, I take trivia very seriously. It can be very fun. We did trivia every week for years. So the only reason we did that was because it was fun.
There's a little puppy.
Hi, Winnie.
Well, I hope y'all are having a great start to the new year. We are excited to be back.
I'm not. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not done. Magical theory.
What was the last trivia thing? Oh, the phone thing. Yeah, that's fine. It's just for fun and the thing that you do on your phone.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're continuing our journey with Goblet of Fire here.
Juan's ready?
Juan's ready.
Avada. Turn to page 272, The 4 Champions. Today's lesson is called, Of Course He Is Lying. The chapter begins with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter?
Harry's name has emerged from the Goblet of Fire. The Great Hall is buzzing softly until Dumbledore calls for Harry to come up, and the whispers increase in volume. He is ushered down to where the other 3 champions are, who he notices are quite tall and formidable, even as they barely notice him. Bagman bounds in, announcing Harry as the 4th champion, followed by disbelief and a slew of adults, most of whom simply assume Harry is lying about not putting his name into the goblet. A haggard Crouch declares Harry must compete, even as Moody speculates that whoever put Harry's name in did so in hopes he would die. Harry returns to the Gryffindor common room to find his house gleeful, except for Ron.
Mm-hmm. This is the chapter, which I don't have the screenshot.
Oh, the famous chapter.
The famous chapter, where did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire, Harry? Dumbledore asked.
Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Sorry, I made a very, very dramatic pause. So for those of y'all who are audio only, you're probably like, wait, did it end? Yeah. So, Cedric.
Winnie just went and got a toy for himself. It's Winnie time. It's magical theory Winnie time.
It's our dog's time to shine.
It always is.
One of the quotes I wrote down was that Cedric was still looking politely bewildered. Cedric just seems so nice. He's just a little buddy. Oh, until Harry's about to see the real Puff and Hufflepuff.
Yeah, he doesn't believe Harry, really. It doesn't seem like.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Well, because it doesn't make sense. Dumbledore is one of the most powerful wizards of all time. Did an age line. There's no explanation.
Can we take a second here?
Okay.
You know, one of the things that bothers me about this whole scenario is that Dumbledore has to ask Harry, did you get an older student to put your name in for you? Which means that despite the age line, The simple circumvention of just being like, here, I wrote this down. Can you pop it in there?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
It's open.
Okay. I had
draw an age line. How is the Goblet of Fire not automatically have something that says you have to put your own name in?
I had this thought, and then I was like, no, that's too much like Hunger Games. I was like, well, why don't they just put in the names of all the 17-plus-year-olds and just pick it out? But it's because...
Don't let anyone put their names in.
It's because...
Not
there is supposedly a magical binding contract that happens where I'm like, okay, wait a second. So somebody made this, or at least enchanted it with some sort of magical binding contract like that. Whoever is allowed
binding contract.
Whoever is able as a witch or wizard to make a thing that's like, oh, you put a name in
wizarding lawyer.
It doesn't even have to be your name. It's a name into a piece of paper and you
write a better contract.
You know? Yes. Okay, you were so close.
What if it wasn't a student at all? What if I just popped Molly Weasley in there and she got picked? Would she have to compete?
Molly would be obligated.
You see the holes? This is a Swiss cheese contract. It's a Swiss cheese contract. There's nothing going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I have questions about how, I mean, this is not a spoiler-free podcast. So if you have never seen or read Harry Potter, sorry, but fake Moody puts the name into the Goblet of Fire.
Foodie. We call him Foodie.
He literally actually, okay, so the Moody that we're dealing with is not real. It's Barty Crouch Jr. He just says it. He's like, oh, someone could do this and create a fourth school and enter Harry as the only student in the fourth school. He just says it all, and they're like, that's ridiculous. And
yes.
Yes, it is ridiculous.
Don't be a fool. I'm sure he just used the much simpler method of having an older person pop his name in there.
So, because he mentions confunding the goblet.
Yes.
Which suggests some sort of either confundus can be used on an object or there's some sort of like
would be funny? What if Harry did use an older person to put his name in and it was Cedric that confundused it for Cedric to compete under the fourth school?
That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. What a twist.
So do you think that this thing is sentient? I mean, it gets talked about as like a third party.
No, it's not. It's an algorithm.
So my question then is...
Just rewrite the code to say 4 schools compete. Boom, Harry Potter, done.
Well, nobody can rewrite the code apparently because
what do you
they're
think
like,
the 4 school's name is?
Look, no, you can't. Hold on, let's go back.
Okay.
You can't rewrite the code because otherwise you can just say like, oh no, mistake, let's do it. And they're like, no, it won't be lit for until the next time.
That's right. the code, object? Then the code goes dark and you can't touch it.
So what I was thinking is, yes. So the thought process that I was going through is this an advanced AI type thing that can be corrupted? I mean, apparently it can be altered, confunded. Also, can the Sorting Hat be confunded? Although that's like less catastrophic. Like, who cares what house you're sorted into? Except for Harry. Harry does not want to be in Slytherin. But
now this is gonna keep me up.
What sorts of objects can be confunded? That's my question. And what are the consequences of that?
Yes.
Can you...
What if somebody confunduses Ollivander and he gives you a wand that actually hates you? So every spell you use just attacks yourself.
Can you confundus a wand? See, this is where the spiraling happens.
It's Magical Theory podcast. Huh? Oh yeah, no. Gosh. So, yes. So there are flaws with the execution here, but then there's some important hints around the scene. Mm-hmm. So, like, I noticed very starkly how much Harry is like, Crouch looks like he's dying. And the only other person who seems to notice is Dumbledore, who's like, there's a thing where it's like he looked at him with mild concern. And I'm like, guys, this dude is imperious right in front of your face, and he looks like he's dying.
You know, it's funny. Like, you don't think that they have this sort of like
checkups.
Just what to look for if in case someone might be imperious. Here are some warning signs.
Yeah. Call the nurse in or somebody. Snape is right there. Moody's right there. You're telling me that there's because we even know from previous that Moody's like, oh, it's in the eyes or whatever.
Yeah,
you can see it in the eyes.
Yeah.
Boom. Dumbledore's right next to him. Bam.
But
doesn't notice.
That is absolutely a warning sign of like, does someone's eyes look glazed over and they're staring out into nothing? Maybe you should check. Like concussion in our world, like maybe they have a concussion.
Yes,
but
right, yes.
They may be imperious.
No problem. Let them make huge decisions about whether a 14-year-old gets to enter a dangerous tournament.
You know, it's there's a lot happening in subtle ways. As
binding contract.
I mean, binding contract is the most ridiculous part of this thing. Part of it is like you need to write it to avoid like, oh, why didn't they just do this? You know, like why couldn't they?
The movie clearly, when they were thinking of this scene, they had this conversation about like this is not satisfying if they're just like, oh, it's a binding contract. So they actually put that additional scene in where McGonagall's like, to hell with Barty and his rules, and then Snape's like, no, just do it. We'll put him out there as bait, and that's the reason why Harry competes. It's bait.
So it's a better reason than...
It's at least... Yes. It's ridiculous in its own way.
They're like, we'll just sacrifice Harry. It's fine. Like, he's the chosen
Potter's a boy, not a piece of meat.
Zir says, to be fair, Dumbledore always knows more and sees the future.
So this is a Doctor Strange thing. Harry loses the Voldemort 14,065,000.
Oh, yeah. This is the only version that works in the multiverse of Harry Potter.
This is it. This is it. Harry has to join. Dumbledore has to ask him that question calmly.
We're easing back into episodes. This is off the rails. We're just like, how do magical objects work?
I think this is a great episode.
So we did watch a bunch of we watched Loki. That's what we watched. So time stuff. Back on the table.
Too bad we didn't watch Loki when Prisoner of Azkaban was going for us. We'd be like, well, what about this? Where's the sacred timeline? Yeah, so I think it's obviously an important chapter because of what happens at the end with Ron.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know. Is it fair? I don't know. I guess I can logically understand it, but I'm also like, it's hard for me to emotionally connect with Ron at this moment. Maybe because
because we know.
Yeah, you're true.
Yeah.
Harry's just doing his best. Once again, like actually this is like a what do you call it? A preview. Foreshadowing.
Has Harry ever lied to Ron?
Maybe just like diminishing things that might be wrong. I don't know. I don't know if he's lied to Ron before, but this is it's a very specific situation where like nobody has an actual explanation other than what seems to be the simple explanation of Harry did this somehow. Like why would anyone, because the question is, why would anyone else put Harry Potter's name in?
Yes, because I noted also, as you probably did too, when Ron is like, whatever, why would somebody put your name in? And he just says, I don't know. And he was like, oh, because if I said to kill me would be too dramatic.
Melodramatic. Yeah. I don't know.
It seems realistic to me because of what we know about Ron and his relationship to Glory.
But here's the thing is that like Harry can just as easily, well, I mean, this is I guess when Harry lies to Dumbledore, I'm like, I think I believe it more than when Harry withholds information from Ron. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it does not.
We're like, just tell him, like, someone might be trying to kill you. I mean, actually, probably in the moment is, like, Harry's irritated that Ron is, like, not believing him, so that's probably why.
Because he was looking for a respite. Because typically in all the chaos, Ron and Hermione are Harry's respite of, like, oh my god, look at the world. Like, everyone wants to kill me or wants to be me. And it's like, well, okay. now he finally gets up. He's been trying to tell everyone in Gryffindor, like, I didn't do it. None of them care or believe him.
I mean, this is 4 years in, so it's been there are, I mean, maybe not as noticeable, but there have been times in the other 3 books where just pointing out like Ron's family contrasted with Harry, and like so we see glimpses of it, but it also kind of feels like why is this happening? I guess in this book it was more in your face, like Ron like repeatedly, especially the dress robes, like the whole thing, everything is like Ron just can't anymore.
Yep.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
It's hard to process. Yeah. It's, to me, it's realistic, even if it's disappointing, because it's disappointing because it's a lesson in, I think it's easy for us to watch to other people, especially fictional, and be like, you're just not communicating.
Yes.
You're just not communicating well.
Yeah.
Like, instead of saying, Harry could have been like, oh, Moody thinks somebody put my name in order to put me in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, posit all of Moody's theory out there and let Ron chew that one instead of just being like, I don't know, But obviously he's at the end of his rope, and he's just like, I don't have any more energy for this nonsense. He just wanted a chill year at Hogwarts.
He just wants to be Harry. He doesn't even want to be Harry Potter,
I'm a
this
what?
is his life. I'm a
Harry,
what?
you're a Triwizard Tournament champion. I'm a what?
Remix that. Do you have anything else for this chapter?
I don't think so. It all happens in basically 2 scenes. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens as the school. I mean, Gryffindor was like super hyped. Like, even Angelina, which I was like, I don't know if I legitimately put my name in the Goblet of Fire and then Harry got in, although I guess Cedric did too, I would probably be annoyed with him, but everyone seemed to be nice to him when he came back.
Did the students know it's a magically binding contract when they put their name in? I'm very frustrated by this.
Did you give them the terms and conditions?
Secondly, why does the name come out without any school affiliation? It'd be funny if it was like Harry Potter, school A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or something like that. Which is like some made up school. Yeah, I don't know.
Barty Crouch's school for the, I don't know, polyjuiced.
Yeah, that's right. Imperious plus polyjuice equal magically binding contract.
I think whoever was able to create
where was
a binding contract, and whoever's be able to like manipulate the thing that makes magical binding contracts, like these are like no joke people.
even refers to it of being like, I didn't read that Hogwarts gets 2 champions, or that the host school gets 2 champions or whatever, and I'm like, so there's a literal contract. And what, the headmaster and headmistress just sign it on behalf of the students, and are like, oh yeah, just pop your name in here, it should be fine.
Again, we always come to like, I don't know, legality in the wizarding world. How does it work?
Well, because
it doesn't seem like there's
it's hard to write a legal system, because even existing real systems have contradictions.
Yeah.
And so you have this like weirdness of like, well, it's a strict contract that Harry clearly would breach because he's only 14. There are no rules. That's right. Everything is made up.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, it's a thin veil, and we're all living on the other side of it. Could be either side. Who knows?
What I'm saying is, you have all this magic. You could use it for good instead of nonsense.
You have to at least use your magic to make it so that an older person can't just put anyone's name in there. Doesn't make any sense.
So basically, we're blaming Dumbledore for not thinking of
all
of the options.
Yeah, well, yes.
You can either be age 17 or 18 and enrolled in, I don't know, put your magical school records in there.
Here's a list, an Excel spreadsheet.
Actually, you don't even
need student ID numbers that are acceptable.
So you didn't even need to like manipulate the goblet. It's just the perimeter around it. Just like make this magical Yeah, all of this could have been avoided if you just did signups and been like, who is interested in putting their names in?
See, you know that fake Moody is not chaotic evil, because if he was chaotic evil, he would just put every student in under a different school. So they're all competing. So they have to bring in like 400 dragons. It's a magically binding contract. They all have to participate. The maze thing, they're just bumping into each other.
Look, I think that just get rid of the Goblet of Fire. You don't need it. There are other ways. I know you want this beautiful magical
just
object.
Have like a literal trial.
It's just a wooden goblet. It's not even like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like
you want to enter. You come in front of the judges, the trial, the top trial.
There are a couple of things that witches and wizards can learn from muggles, even though, I mean, we just take our structures for, make it a reality TV show where you have people audition, like you're saying, like do a try or some sort of like showcase thing. People vote.
You are the weakest link.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Maybe don't rely on the Goblet of Fire. It's like 1 billion years old.
This is what happens when you try to automate something. No, you just do it by hand.
I just update
do your trivia by hand on paper. Anyway, that's all.
It's Magical Theory podcast time.
Magical Theory. Okay, until next time.
Wands ready.